Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper calling at you from the Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully you're doing well and hopefully looking after yourselves. Damn, I'm going to do a juicy topic for today's video, as you guys would have saw on the thumbnail. We're going to talk about relics and gemstones that I'm using in P versus P and P versus E, mainly specifically looking at Hydra and Chimera for today's synergy. And we're going to talk about not synergy in general between the relic and the gemstone in overall of raid content, the mainly what I'm using in Raidshadowlegends on my champions that I've been able to collect inside Raidshadowlegends. Now today, please remember, today my account is an in-game account. I've been playing Raid since 2019. My account has been around for a very long time. I spent also plenty of money in Raidshadowlegends, so there is definitely that. Now I'm not a formal Kraken like I used to be when I was on the side of Raid. I don't know if you guys know a backside of the story of Raid, but when I first started off Raid, I used to be on cruise ships. I had a lot of money back then, and I was basically bored and I played Raid and open shards because it was enjoyable entertainment to get away with the long work days on the cruise ship. Now this is gonna be a long video because we're gonna go into detail, so I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet and not ramble too much. We will talk about all my P vs P champions now. If you want to see any sort of the builds of the P vs P champions to see with the relics and gemstones, which I'm not going to go into, you'll find a How Hades link in the description of today's video on any type of builds that we're using, and you will be able to see all the builds, etc. from there. I am a P versus P player, mainly focused at P versus P. I'm extremely low spend now. Well, I say extremely low spend. For me, it's extremely low spend. For you, it wouldn't be. My maximum budget on Raid is about £100 a month now from 2025 going onwards, and it has been about that for the past 18 months or so. I've been extremely aware when I've whaled out for sure, and that's just the way I like to play Raidshadowlegends. I track all my spending. Last month I spent like £80 and 33 pence, I guess, and in this video, I guess this month I've always spent like £40 because I've got the Demon Jade pack, Forge, and the daily energy pack as well. This is the only thing we spent. I want you to kind of understand what my account is on and why, right? Because I've been pushing hard for relics. I've won quite a few tournaments already. So you can see that the tournaments are from he has tournament myself won 9 since Alice has gone live. I've also been second and third in a few events. You can see also I'm winning one right now. I want the badge. The badge is juicy, but it's mainly because I'm going for the relics as a P versus P perspective. And once it gets released inside the live arena, I will be all over that. I do my 10 fights near enough every day. Last month I only missed 3 days of live arena, and that's because I was moving house. So it's one of them ones. I'm very committed to P versus P. I drop live arena videos all the time on multiple accounts, so go ahead and check that out. Let me go into this. If you want to understand more about relics and gemstones, I've recently dropped videos on all this. And yeah, anyway, let's get into this and I'll talk about all my relics, etc. I've got 39, some are equipped, some are not. I've used quite a few as food as well. So let's talk about this then, and this will be a interesting one for sure, which could be a good video. Let's talk about the ones that we've got. I've got only 4 legendary so far. That's more than some, it's less than others for sure. But once I stopped getting once I got the cat glaze one, I stopped basically doing the summon events, etc. So I've just been getting epic materials, and I was started off really lucky and then started getting really unlucky. So let me talk about the ones that we're going for. So let's start with Wonder Submissive. Wonder Submissive. Now Marius has uh, two that I use for him. I use Wonder Submissive for PvP. His weakness in PvP in my player style would be um the Wonder Submissive, because I use him as a debuffer, but also as a DPS. And then I'm not a big fan of running um multiple factors, but he has really good like building multiple champions for this. But I like to try and debuff people with like low resistance with Marius with reasonable stuff. And I guess when I get the 5-star and 6-star, this will be really useful. He's going to get extra speed, he's going to get extra accuracy. Marius is really weak to armors on the A3 as well. So having that chance to reflect it back, and it is a big chance as well of a 40%. It literally won me 2 fights yesterday in live arena because it reflected the stuns and sheep back. Doesn't always proc, and it can be a bit frustrating at times. Once I will make this my priority as well of upgrading because it's probably my best one so far in my player style. And I use Marius probably. Marius is always a top 3 pick for me for sure if I get a chance to take him, and he is the same with a lot of opponents for people in the arena. And as well, really good chance of reflecting the rest of the boss packs like stuns, which is very common to see Odin and the nomads, and yeah, polymorph blessing, which is really frustrating, probably the most broken thing in this game still. We're using gemstones, obviously, of increasing accuracy of this. Now, I don't think it will let me show you of the other triangles. I haven't had a chance to update any of them yet, so this might be a little bit outdated of what I want to see in PvP. I don't think I've got any red ones or anything like yet from triangle. Sorry, from the odd shaped square one. I don't know what you call this. Then we got 2 circle ones, which again is just mainly an arena thing. At start a turn or when he takes a start, normally I go first with Marius if I can, or even when they go, if he's still alive, for example, they will normally still have max HP. He's one of my fastest nukers as well, and I purposely make sure the nukers he's one of the fastest nukers, so they have full HP. This does stack as well, so it's giving them a 10% more damage. This is what I really need as well, and have that chance to strip the stone skin. Really good against Sigford as well. The more damage you can do, the better for sure, especially against bolster sets as well. You can also use, I think there's like a bolster set one. No, that's a triangle one, sorry. So yeah, that's very solid. We're also going to get extra accuracy as well at some point. I think you get 12 speed and 20 accuracy as a two substats, which is going to be a bonus for sure. Then we're using Dutches. I use Dutches a little bit in Arena, mainly Classic 3 vs 3, but I use Dutches all the time in Hydra and Chimera. She is used a lot with Cardiel, just built a new team. If you want to go ahead, check that team out, I will ping that up here. I dropped a video on it last week. It's roughly around about 11 trials. I did 9 in the video, but it's going to be roughly around about 11 trials on Ultra Nightmare with no mythicals, no Gina, and the only 2 pay-to-win champions in that side of the team are Duchess and Cardiel, which can replace with other ally attack champions as well. I'm probably going to drop some more videos on that team because I'm juicing up with relics and etc. for sure. And this was a new relic that I put in the team and swapped out. The whereas increases. So Duchess is really bad in PvP because and has been power crept because she doesn't have turn meter, right? And with this relic, you're going to get an increase of 10% whenever one of the allied dies. Normally, when you use Duchess as well, it's go second teams, not speed teams, and it's very often in its meta. If you're using Duchess regularly, you're going to go second. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Multiple times you're going to run multiple revivers as well, which could be quite good as well. And I normally use Sifi quite again as one of my first 3 picks, so there is good synergy with that. And again, I do have Valkanus, who is a Demon Lord Unity champion, which is not built yet. There's going to be chances of me bringing it into Strat for Love Arena a bit more consistently. I've just been waiting for the better relics for Duchess to get that 10 meter for sure, and I could see a really good synergy between the two. So that's one of the reasons why I've done it. Again, for Chimera, especially when I'm doing some trials, I'm taking so much damage. Sometimes this is really good. Let me go ahead and just move myself out of the way so you guys can see the gemstones a bit clearer. I know you can see it as well over there. Again, we're using this with Sifi for Arena, extra turn meter for Sifi to get her revive off. I'm a little bit upset with Sifi because I used to have the 5-star Life Harvest, but I put it into a presence for this meta. So I lost a lot of turn meter and for her revive, and I like it for her to get the A1 off way more consistent, and that increased 10 meters really nice for that one ability. And also it could be really useful. This will be one of the, I will probably only do 2 of these, max out to 16 at some point when I got the materials and stuff available to that. But yeah, anyone who is doing that, you can see here I'm also using a gemstone to increase the turn meter to help speed tuning better as well, because it's the only circle ones that I've got that really makes sense to put with her. she's squishy, so these two gemstones don't really make sense to put with her. And then again, allies revived by this wearer are going to get additional heal of 10%, which I need to test. I'm not too sure if it works. I'm pretty sure it would like add on a bit more. I'll go into a bit more detail for that. Alice, I just use this for extra attack, and then for the gemstone for the video, I will be trying her out in live arena and other types of PvP, and probably be dropping another video on her. I don't know if I'll do the video on my account or a different account, but it's a very juicy one. Again, I will use this as food in the future as well. Elixir of Gold, I was testing this one, for example, on Duchess. This has been quite effective actually, and I think it's a bit underrated as a relic compared to the other ones, because I've been seeing this being used on uh Nice, for example, because Nice does want the attack and HP, and he normally dies to Marius when he flips from A1. But what is happening is now is he's healing a little bit, and then he's surviving Marius way more consistent with this. And you also use gemstones as well to kind of help that, and it's making these a little bit more powerful with this relic. There is other areas as well you can probably use this with. You could probably use this with Duchess as well, with a couple of gemstones to get some increased turn meter, and also to get some extra heal on your Duchess. Again, for Chimera, I was using her in the Chimera Duchess, but I replaced it with this one because I just feel like this one's just a little bit better for P versus P as well with the turn meter. I've got about 3 more to go. I'm not too sure where I'm going to put them. I think I'm going to put these ones on Hydra champions who actually need to heal more. Attack, and you know when it's tap based, like Blaster Destroyer with really low HP, who is dying because they lose too much HP or whatever. I think this will be a good one, and this will just be a little bit of healing. Anyone that's a mid game player, doesn't have Max Great Hall, who's trying to use tap based nukers like Ninja, this is gonna be really solid for like Hydra and Chimera. So go think about that. Don't um let it scare you too much. But that could be a really good use for that, right? Or you could put it on Rollis if you don't have to have a, like a had to reserve or any of the legendary ones. That's really strong on that champion as well, because he's going to get extra HP and attack at some point. I would only probably take 1 or 2 of these up to max 16. I wouldn't really do any more because I don't see that being super OP. It's a little bit niche compared to the other relics, which I think are just a bit more better in the same category for sure on an overall point. This is Book of Journals is probably the most OP rare relic in the game at the moment that I can think of, as well as the one that gives you extra critical damage, which we'll cover in a bit. These ones for sure, I will max around about 4 of these out at some point because I can see a lot of increase. This will work with heals. This will work with any type of healing mechanics. So for example, Rio has like a high heal mechanics. I was using her in Chimera. I replaced her. She was partly use it for the heal. And again, I just put this in because I use it for Sun Devil as well and for Phantom Shogun. So I thought, why not? I couldn't really find anyone because it's more of a Siegfried ability or Seer, but I'm not going to put that on Siegfried for sure. I use him in PvP, not PvE. I do use Freya and Arbiter in Arena, so it makes speed tuning a bit more easier. I can lower the speeds of damage dealers and then increase the turn meter as well from the rare gemstones, which you can see, which has a really good increase. It increases more turn meter from the turn meter. Sorry, it increases your turn meter as well as the book of journal and then the stone as well, right? Really good synergy for sure. Why we've got this on UDK, to be fair, it's just for the gemstone. I'm going to get extra HP, which is useful. I ain't going to take any level any higher than level 6, and once I can replace it, I will. Again, one of them ones. This one I've just used for food, and I will get in future. This has been leveled for the gemstone, the circle one, to increase my bomb damage on my Nishak, who has a really good build. He's also going to get extra accuracy attack in the future. I will probably take this up to level 9, and when I can replace it in the future with something like this, I will. So I guess we can swap out this one for this one on Manishak, use the gemstone there, and potentially use another gemstone with him. That could be another option as well. The heal wouldn't do anything, if I'm being honest. The heal will also get additional accuracy as well, so I can use it for the substats to increase that. I'm using this on 4 right now because, again, extra attack. Again, I will probably swap out the elixir of gold, the elixir of golden elixir, because you can get the attack, the heal, which sometimes 4 can do with that, to be honest. The extra accuracy, the extra HP for survivability, again on Flash to Destroy it as well. I've only been starting to get a few of these. As you can see, these are coming a bit late. I only had one, so I wasn't able to use it. I've just used it on other people because I'm thinking I will grade it for food. It's very easy to. I'll use it for the future in the food, and then be able to do some stuff like that. So it's one of them ones. Book a journal on Queen Ancora. Again, Queen Ancora does actually doesn't increase turn meter with King Narcissus. I use this sometimes in Live Arena, but I mainly use it in Classic Arena Siege. It's normally my go-to strategy in Siege, mainly thinking about Siege, and it's also really good with 3 versus 3 as well, which is one of my most consistent teams. You're gonna get HP, defense, and resistance and speed. They're like the 4 stats like Queen and Corey needs, depending on how you build her. Mine's tanky, not high resistance, so I don't worry about too much. This was just put on Necrid because again I was wanting to do a few book of journals and the gemstone, which is really useful of receiving damage. I can put these two together and have some nice synergy against that for sure. These ones will be used for food. All right, so I'm a really big fan of this one. So I have low level blessings on a lot of my mythical champions, and or have no blessings at all. So I'm mainly using this for the extra critical damage, the extra damage as well. When where it has extra 20% of dealing 10% more damage when attacking, really useful. This is bugged in Hydra right now and not working. At some point, I will get extra attack. I will actually max out a couple of these, and once I can start replacing my mythical and legendaries that I'm using inside the type of PvP, I will move these for extra damage onto Hydra champions or champions I'm using in Curse City for some extra stats, or champions I'm using in Siege, maybe to clear menace shrines, etc., to get some extra resources, or just very niche builds for PvP. I can definitely see a lot of good ones for that. My second legendary one today, again, going back to this, actually, I'm using the shield one. This doesn't actually work with Lazarus. This will work on his first form and second on the A2, which can have some juicy hits. I put the gemstone with this when I was using on a different champion, like Sigford, I think it was, and it's one of them ones. I will max a couple of these for sure, and I can use it when I really need it. Very cheap to remove it as well. Let's talk about the hand of creation. Hand of creation, amazing. I've really enjoyed this. It's been working like absolute treat on my armads, getting extra accuracy and speed as well on my armads. I don't really care for any more speed on my armads. He's 400. Seafy has to be incredibly fast, and this is why his type of build only really works against Seafy and Abias, really. Um, but it's really strong, right? So we got 3 types of gemstones, so we're going to use an extra turn meter if I lose HP, which doesn't really play into that. There's definitely better ones once I have better choices. Decrease effects as well if I go against like Lysandra or anything, and then increases my turn meter when the Arbiter and stuff played. I don't think these two actually do much. I will probably change this out when I have a chance for like extra accuracy for sure, because we do have the accuracy gemstones, which I don't actually have for this. Really nice one. Really nice mechanics and really juicy stats. It gets extra 100 HP accuracy. I think it's 96, right? But really useful. Now, I think this relic is a little bit underwhelming, but also really strong. You can use this on like anyone with the AoE on A1, like Marius, for example. This would really strong on Marius. I think other people are put on other relics on Marius because they're prioritizing him, and they for sure should do that. But for me, this is gonna. I don't have a blessing for my Commodus. I've been waiting for at least a level 1 to drop from 2x events. I've been taking part with 2x events. I'm not being able to get a level 1. I just want a level 1, level 5, or level 6. They're like the 3 that really matter. Anything else doesn't really matter on him because he doesn't care for attack and defense as well, right? So it's one of them ones. He has a 10% chance. I do use his first form quite a lot as like a lockout ability because it stops my opponent taking them against me, and he also is fairly good against Stone Skin. This is just extra layer of RNG against a Stone Skin as well. I don't know if it works as like a 1 and then 1, or it just works on the one. I think it just works on the one, but with the extra bonus stats as well. Really, really juicy. And then I was able to put in the gemstones to it, it to add with, because I don't use accuracy up with him like Abias because I don't have her. I use her with different setups, so the extra resistance is more beneficial to my playstyle than actually increasing his damage with the gemstone that you would have saw earlier on Vermilor, right? Vermilor has increased attack, sometimes banded like Arbiter. That's why I paired them up together. And this one is more important for him to actually place the bombs because he doesn't kill him, he's going to stun him anyway. And I always run another nuker with him as well. So I'm not going to really be too bothered if he does that. His job is actually to break the stone skin, allow my nukers to do the job, and not so much to get the kill, right? If he gets a kill, which he does 99% of the time, that's just a bonus for me. So that's one thing that I actually use him for, and I actually get the extra resistance. Now, I've had some really good opponents still getting bombed with getting bombed by him because I'm using extra accuracy. Ignoring 30% resistance now because the kit ignores 20% resistance for sure, which is really, really juicy. And then we have Carnage going in with the Iron of whatever it's called. I will probably upgrade one or two of these. I'm not going to upgrade too many of these because I just feel that there is so much to upgrade already. And I just feel like I can move this around very cheaply. I think this is great for Carnage. I do use Carnage and Hydra time to time. He's going to benefit from extra attack and the accuracy for PvP. He also, I use his first form way more than I do his second form in PvP, which is really, really useful as well. And he's also in Stone Skin. So I do want to upgrade one of these, max out to level 6 at some point. And I don't want to take too many of these up too far, if I'm being honest. He's very good. He's very squishy as well, so the extra HP would be useful. And then he can play with the gemstones, like, for example, extra accuracy here in the future, and then extra accuracy there as well in the future as well, because he doesn't have like a ton of accuracy. This is just mainly was on Armads. I got the upgraded version on Armads, who I do use more than my Warlords, so I did prioritize the two out of that, and then I just use this for the extra accuracy. This stuff is just a bonus, I guess, and then I'm using the resistance, which is not really going to do much, but you never know when that will work, I guess. They're definitely better gemstones here. I'll probably take this one up to level 18. Maybe I'll take a few of these up to level 18, probably like 3 of them, just because it gives me additional of 96 accuracy, which is really strong and OP in PvP and PvE, especially if you don't have like a lot of blessings for sure, which could be quite good. This could arguably go on and hit the Commodus with extra accuracy if I'm struggling too much, and that could, in addition, help me push up my accuracy towards 600. I would lose the gemstones though, so it might kind of bounce out overall over the top. For now, I need more accuracy on my warlords. I'm aware of that, so we're going to use that for sure. Then we got the Taling here on Tormund. Tormund will start coming into some of my setups for Live Arena, so I want him to be able to have like a gemstone against accuracy and as well additional extra critical damage as well. He's not the hardest hitters of. He's not the hardest hitters as well, so extra stats is going to be really, really useful. And I'm going to use Fearsome Presence tier 6. So if I can get this up to increase his damage, I will for sure. Gina was mainly for Chimera. Probably will take this off him and use this on a different champion in future. I've got a 4-star blessing on him already. I don't really need the extra damage for PvP, so I'd rather use this in other areas like PvP and etc. Someone I use in PvP, again, extra critical damage is nice. He's like 307 speed, so his critical damage took quite a bit of a big hit and extra damage for him as well. Can't complain. Same as Hedgie. Hedgie just need extra damage as well. Damage increase at the start, really useful. I actually used Hedgie in one of my fights today in Live Arena, and he just nuked out a Commodus who was in Stone Skin and won me the fight as well. Food. Cataglaze, I run really fast Sigfoot, and in the future I want to change his kit to be a 4-piece Ferald and Savage to kind of help a bit more. With extra damage gemstones, again, I have put the best gemstones I have so far for him on him. So a triple hitter, which this does need to be changed because it's A1 is a double hitter, not a triple. So like a multiple skill, so that needs to be changed at some point. And we're just really low on gemstones. And then the shield one, because he doesn't ignore shield, right? So the shield could be really juicy for that surplus damage, or the A2, which doesn't hit the hardest. I will take these up really fast to give him some extra damage. I use this one for Marius in Chimera, and at the moment I don't want to put this on Marius for Live Arena because I really enjoy using Wonder Submissive. I could put the Wonder Submissive on Sifi and make my Sifi to 450 speed, but again, I'll struggle with speed tuning then if I go any faster on her. So for now, I'm happy to leave it on him, and I'm really enjoying it on Marius for the extra RNG. I do use Marius in Ghost Second as well, so I feel like it does have a bit of a beneficial of having that extra RNG on Marius for Live Arena. So again, I leave it off all my enemies because it'll cost me extra 360 materials. As you can see, I've only got 890. That would double my materials for Chimera, which I just don't want to do. I am slowly and surely getting gemstones for him. So for now, I've got another four foe killer, which will just help won't even help with Chimera, but it will help with Hydra if I put them on Hydra. I do put on Hydra every now and again as well. I'm still waiting on more triangle gemstones for sure. And then we will talk about the last ones. So I use He-Man and Rhodas in Arena, and I also use Narcissus in Arena. These two are more live arena focus, and then classic as well, and 3v3. And he's more siege, classic, and 3v3. I do use them in live arena as well. All of these are HP nukers who benefit from extra stats, allow me to use the other relics who I can prioritize on other champions. And so these three are really, really useful for sure. So that will be really useful. I don't have gemstones right now, but I will work on that for sure. And then these two I use in Hydra, and I just want extra survivability. They don't actually do anything. It's not great for them. It should be on HP. It does help with damage reduction a little bit in Hydra. I'd have no intentions of crunching these because they are really limited. So I don't want to use these as chickens. They're really limited. I'll probably only take out He-Man's Blessing in the future and maybe Narcissus. And I think there's definitely better ones we can put on Rhodas. Like, for example, if I get the aspect, I will put that straight on Rhodas because I can see that being really useful for my Rhodas for sure. And I will try and get a bit more game time. Whereas I have a really good build. And I was starting to think about actually saving the 6-star speed lifts to make it really increase the speed to like 280, 290 along there. He-Man, I do use a lot as well. I don't use her so much right now, but it could be one of them ones. I'm actually thinking about bringing in her again into my Lorraine setups, mainly just as a option as a spirit nuker who would be great against warlords and human cone. That is the only reason for me to build her in a 4-piece stone skin and ignore defense set. If I can get a high level blessing on her or more stats, she is attack base in a second form, so that would be one of the interesting ones. I could benefit from both stats, but again, I think there's better gemstones for sure. Like maybe elixir gold could be better on her because she's a mythical. She can flip. She's just going to be a little bit better against lockout. I do normally use Carnage in that role, but if they like take Carnage, that could be a good option as a backup option to that as well. It's mainly for speed team, I guess. I guess that's it for today's video. As usual, hopefully you enjoy this. There is a lot of that down. Let me know down in feedback what gemstones and relics you're using, and what champions and why you're using them. I would really like to learn from you guys, as well as you guys hopefully learn from today's video. And as usual, hopefully you enjoy this. Please remember to hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell when the next video goes live. I hope you really enjoyed this. As usual, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.